All right, a little bit better, a little bit better. So, let me tell y'all. So, all right, so I say no contact, no conflict, or less contact, less conflict. And she was like, oh, that's a bar. You know? And she probably, she might, I'm quite sure she heard of that saying before, or whatever the case it may be. She probably heard it before, but maybe she didn't use it. She was older than me. So, with age, I assume, which I should not assume, I assume there will be more wisdom, right? But to her, that was a wise word, wise phrase. No contact, no conflict. Less contact, less conflicts. Less conflict. So she said, where you get that from? Where'd you learn all this from? I said, Neely Fuller, Dr. Frances Cress Welsing. She said, she might have heard it. She might have heard of Cress Welsing. Round about, she's a little older than me. She's quite a bit older. So I tested it. I tested it myself. I said, does this work? Is this a constructive thing to do? I said, okay. It works to a certain degree. You're going to have some kind of contact, but the less contact, we just talking about logic, basic laws of math. Less contact will be less conflict. It will be less. Less contact will be less conflict because you won't have no contact to have the conflict. What, you going to argue with yourself? Now, you're a manager, so you're not going to necessarily be able to do that all the time. No. But these people have deemed to undermine her word insubordinates. Blatant, negligent insubordinates. These are grounds to be fired upon. And what they did is they basically said, well, I'm not going to listen to this strong black woman. Whatever happened to DEI? Whatever happened to women empowerment? Whatever happened to all that? Man, look, it's a black woman that's running it. I ain't trying to hear none of that. I saw in different meetings, there's things that I did notice, but I didn't know it was to this degree, where sometimes they be sitting around and the sister will be speaking. What the hell is he doing? Don't know what's going on here. I think he's high. The sister will be speaking, and they did not want to, they were just looking kind of funny. So I told her, I said, I wasn't trying to undermine her authority, or I wasn't really trying to, but I said less contact, less conflict, and we start talking about that. I kind of sat there. I said, she said, yeah, these people, they just walk right past me. I say something to them, or I'm telling them, to do something or whatever these folks were supposed to be doing, they just flat out say they ain't going to do it. What job in America can you have where you tell your boss what you ain't going to do? It happens in a DEI environment. That was DEI. POC, minorities, disenfranchised, all of that. I saw it firsthand. And they couldn't undermine me because I was a system administrator, so to say. I run all of that. They would have tried if they could. But there's really nobody to report to. The person that I was reporting to is now gone. That's the reason why I was trained up. So I'm just speaking my truth. I'm speaking facts about what was going on. A little bit of this morning mud. Late night. I'm doing a late night show, 7 o'clock. Yeah, I thought it was very distasteful as to how they were treating that sister. Now, the woman before her I'm not sure what happened. I think what happened is maybe they wanted a different look. And I think the lady before her, I thought she was white, but I think she was mixed. I'm not sure what happened with that. But it was a bunch of flim-flam going on as well, I think. But I'm not sure exactly what happened, so I can't speak to that. What I do know is that mission statement got changed. I talked to y'all about that before. And the reason why I keep bringing this up is because this is a thing going on in these nonprofits. Now, I'm not going to say that they were scamming. I'm not going to say it was necessarily no scamming. What y'all may not know about nonprofits and charter schools and stuff like that is they have what they call, it's not a purse, but it's like, I forgot what the term is, but endearment or endowment or something. It's something where another college basically says, hey, we accredit them, they good. Our word is based on these folks. They come in, they look at the audits, make sure everything is right for the states, upload the data, all of that. There was other black folks that left this organization that had reached out to me. I might have been a little overkill to a certain degree about my response, but they wanted to know, well, why'd you bounce? You know? So I remember one of the sisters that left. I remember we were in the hallway, and I'm kind of knowing this, she's his sister, but I'm in the hallway one time and I'm leaving. I'm kind of walking around or something like that, the building, and she was talking about, she made a comment. I thought that was kind of funny. And it was I think there was some racial thing going on. I don't know. It was something about, I don't know, Puerto Rico or whatever. We were having like a real nigga conversation. And she said, yeah, and the Puerto Ricans, some of them would be like, I know black. She said, they be talking about, some of them be talking about, or Dominicans or something she was saying. She said, y'all, they be on that I know black shit. She said, they get some niggas they get some niggas from the islands. You know what I'm saying? So when she said that, I kind of knew, like, oh, okay. She one of us. Like, I ain't had no, so, but we sat at the same table. Now this person I'm talking about, this wasn't the head, but she was important. This sister she was an important part of the establishment. But she didn't stay. And I don't think she was fired, but she didn't stay. And some of them didn't really like her. Her concern was the kids. Her concern was the kids. And I like I say, I'm never going to say the lady's name or whatever like that. But now, from what I've seen in the community, from what I've heard, okay, what I've heard so far and what I've seen, to my knowledge, I'll say to my knowledge, because I don't dig into it a lot. What I've seen her go on and work in the community, it seems to me that it's, it seems like, she was genuine about her concerns and everything. But this sister, man, she was concerned about black folks being on the north side, being included in the establishment. And we've had that conversation, you know what I'm saying? So I'm not going to say who it is. I will Jeff Sessions your ass with this situation. I will not confirm nor deny. I will Jeff Sessions you. I'll get my Jeff Sessions on real fast. But I just think, the sisters, for the most part, a lot of them, like when we be sitting in there, and sometimes, like even the lines would be segregated. Not segregated as, you can't come over here, but like everybody sat in their little pods And a lot of times it would be just the white people sitting where they were sitting, and they'll just be and see the white folk and the Mexicans that was down with us, they sit with us. But then you get the little Lily DEI hires, the little white liberal ladies. A lot of times they'll sit in their own little corner, and it'd be that little clique that didn't like the black lady that was running things. It'd be little cliques like that. I remember one time, man, let me tell y'all something. They played something, it was real weird. I remember one time in the auditorium, man, they played something, man, and I just couldn't believe it. Minneapolis might get a little upset, but I gotta speak the facts, man. They played, and some of the white folks was looking like, what the hell is this? They played like a mental health, like a Sigmund Freud ass nonprofit or something like that. You know, I'm telling y'all would not believe some of the things that I witnessed under the guise of POC, disenfranchised minority DEI. Black folks undermined right under our damn nose. And they prioritized the immigrant class. I ain't got nothing against the kids. They kids. But when I'm telling you, you had to be not from this soil to be prioritized. They was up there telling us, you can't let no ICE agents in the building. I'm like, man, shit, these are federal. I'm thinking to myself, man, can you imagine a black school? Can y'all imagine it? A black school where they say, oh, little Pookie and Ray Ray Jr., little Sharkeisha Quananisha Jr., or not say, you can't say Jr. with a girl, but y'all know what I'm saying. Oh, yeah, they daddies was one of the BDs or the vice lords and all this here. And yeah, they family got a crack house and all that. Can you imagine if the feds came up to the school looking for some kids? Would they ever tell black kids, well, we gonna protect you from the FBI because you and y'all are affiliated? I want y'all to really understand what I'm asking you here. Can you imagine young black kids where all their whole family is so-called gang members and all this here, and they turn around and tell them, well, we ain't gonna let the feds in because, whatever. We not gonna let the federal authorities arrest these kids that's out here slanging these drugs and gang banging and all that. We got a RICO on their family, but we not gonna come to the school and get members. Now, mind you, they know that these so-called gang members, can you imagine us telling the FBI to go F off? Man, they would, do you know, if they thought that black kids were doing any illegal activity, they'd be up in that school snatching us up out of there so damn fast. Man, we had an officer in South Minneapolis. Y'all know, anybody who went to South could attest to this. Anybody who went to South could attest to this. His name was Officer Seidel. Man, he used to beat the hell out of the kids. Most of the kids was black. I ain't seen him whip on no white kids. Now, granted, yeah, we had a smart mouth, and we was showing our ass in there, but you ain't supposed to be beating us up. The principal and the officer was whooping our ass. Man, Officer Seidel, I remember a nigga punched the shit out of Seidel. I think gave him a bloody nose and left. I think he got away too. Man, Officer Seidel used to beat the shit out of us. This is a whole cop. They put him in South High because I think he shot some nigga or he did something. I'm too loud. Yeah, I gotta calm down. I got the microphone. I forgot. Man, Officer Seidel used to beat the brakes off niggas at South High. Ask anybody in South High class of 2001. Man, this Seidel put hands and feet. Pulling up on you, asking you, hey, you look like you high. You look like you're high. He didn't ever catch me. I used to be high all the time in school, especially around about, 10th, 11th grade. I used to be chopped. I used to be chopped as hell. half the school year I might get chopped, didn't do all my work, pass with flying colors. Officer Seidel, and I remember the principal beat they beat one dude. They beat him with a walkie-talkie. The principal looked like Ned Sanders from Bart Simpson and all that. I think he beat the guy up with a walkie-talkie or something like that. Yeah, man. You see all these videos. See, y'all didn't have the videos back then. Y'all got videos. We ain't had no videos back then. I can't prove what I'm telling you. You just got to talk to, I doubt I'll get Stack Doe on camera. He ain't getting on no camera, but he'll tell you. If he felt like you were high, or if you were a suspected gang member or any of that, yeah, he gonna put hands on you. He gonna grab you. He gonna investigate you without your parents being present. Let's add that on there too. Your parents were not present whatsoever. That's the kind of stuff that was going on in these schools. Now you got some of these schools, these officers, where we seen videos of them slamming students and beating the hell out of students. They used to do that at South High. I'm quite sure they did that at Roosevelt and stuff too. You get out of line with one of the cops. You got to think that officer is there because he can't probably be nowhere else. Seidel was on the beat. I don't think it was homicide or whatever like that. And I seen him over there. I remember I took my mom to a little Chinese restaurant over there. I seen him sitting up in there. I think this was when I was out of high school. I seen him sitting up in there, just looking pitiful. Nobody liked Seidel, man. Nobody liked him, man. He was mean. Some people said he was racist. I didn't understand white supremacy to the degree I understand it now. So I just thought, well, maybe he just, but yeah, man, he was mean, man. He beat people up and do all kind of stuff. You had to have what they call him, a resource officer. They go, oh damn, I gotta go on up. Okay. A resource officer is what they called him. That's what they called him, a resource officer. Go to the east side real quick here, make a little stop. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna make another video. This next video here is gonna be about, this next video is gonna be about this interview that I had. We're gonna release that. So see y'all in a minute.